Me like movie. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Me Like Not Like. Today's May 17, 2025. I am Giuseppe and I like movies. You know, I was doing some spring cleaning and it's amazing how many Blu-rays that I still have not put on the shelf yet. Yeah, I still have a Blu-ray shelf. I still collect physical media. Um, but it just goes to show you how long how long ago it's been there. Because like, I'll buy a movie, I'll watch it, and I'll leave the case by the TV, and I'll take the last Blu-ray I was watching, put it in that case because the case of the movie that was already in there, there's another movie in that case. So I leave them by the TV. And when I was like collecting them, putting them away, it's crazy how many Marvel movies that I own on Blu-ray. I even have some on 4K, and I don't even have a 4K TV. I still have a 3D TV, and I have a lot of Marvel 3D Blu-ray movies because I love 3D. When I go to the theater, if it's available in 3D, I'll pay the extra amount just to see it in 3D. You know, whether it's IMAX 3D, which I feel like we don't get IMAX 3D as often as we used to. You either get Real D 3D or just IMAX. But when a movie was released in the theater in 3D, they would release it on Blu-ray in 3D. But after a while, they stopped doing that in the U.S. So when it came to like the Marvel movies that were like really good, that were released in the theater in 3D, and they weren't being released in the U.S. in 3D on 3D Blu-ray, I would have to buy the import. You know, go on eBay. There were a couple of sellers who had the 3D import Blu-ray, which were region free. I think that's the way like Disney made them. He made them They made them region free for anybody in other areas that wanted to buy them. But to buy a 3D Blu-ray, an import, especially through eBay, it would cost like maybe $10 more than what the regular Blu-ray would cost here. So it's like for like the regular Blu-ray, let's say, all right, Avengers Endgame. It wasn't available on 3D Blu-ray in the US, so I had to buy the import. Now, I even bought the American release because I wanted the digital code to have in my digital library. But I got the Steelbook Blu-ray, and it was like $40 in the US. And for the import 3D Blu-ray, it was like 50. You know, I have both because I love the movie and I love the 3D for the movie, but after a while it just started costing too much and the quality of the Marvel movies just went down. So for me, it wasn't even worth it to buy even like the regular Blu-ray anymore. It's gotten to the point where I don't rush out to the theater anymore to go see it the way I do. As is the case with Thunderbolts. I wanted to see it, so obviously I saw it. I saw it on Tuesday in 3D, bargain Tuesday, so it was only like a $10 ticket for the 3D showing. And, I wasn't like super excited to see it. If I was, I would have seen it the night it came out. You hear reviews, you hear people talk about it. Some people absolutely love it. Some people hated it. But me personally, I'm like indifferent about it. I saw the movie, you see a lot of the characters return, like Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, David Harbour as the Red Guardian. Like, his character was supposed to be like the full-on like comic relief, and it's like some of the jokes he told, like in the movie, it was just like it got annoying after a while. You got Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova. Basically she was a Black Widow. But it starts off with her like standing on a building, just contemplating life, and she does like a parachute jump off to go into this building, get some information and do what she has to do and all that stuff. And just throughout the movie it was just such a depressing tone. And it just it got to the point where it's just like, oh my God, like, these are the people who are like here to like save the planet. And it's like, I get it. Everybody gets down once in a while, but the whole movie, like, it was such a downer. Like, everybody was down. Everybody was depressed. It's like, even the Red Guardian's like, hey, I just want to relive my youthful days. And I can relate to that because, I'm a musician. I've played in bands, and I'm doing like the cover band thing now, which I love, which I enjoy. But there's also that part of me that's like, man, I remember when I was younger playing CBGB. It's like I relate to that character in the sense that like I know what it's like being my age, thinking, I would love to relive relive that glory. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna go as far as he does and like put on a tight suit and just get on stage whenever I get a chance. But it's just it. So Julia Louis Dreyfus, Valentina DeFontaine, Allegra DeFontaine. Um, you know, she calls on the Black Widow to retrieve some information to go to the building and basically kill the ghost. Ava Starr, and when she gets there, it's like the ghost is there, Taskmaster's there, John Walker, also known as U.S. Agent, and Bob, just Bob. I mean, like I just want to make sure I say it right now that there is going to be spoilers because I already started with it. But if you have a problem with spoilers, I apologize. And I mean, it's almost 3 weeks after the movie released, so if you haven't seen it, you're probably not going to see it, or you don't care. As is why I waited 2 weeks to even see it. But this guy Bob, who later becomes the Sentry, because he figures out that he's got like insane powers, and you know, he's working for Julia Louis Dreyfus. I'm just gonna call her Elaine from Seinfeld. He's working for Elaine from Seinfeld, and she basically wants him to like destroy, the Thunderbolts, as they call themselves, and it's just like, you know, each one of them was sent to this place to basically destroy each other. And Bob had no idea of it. Nobody even knew who Bob was. Nobody knew why he was there. Apparently, he was a test subject like years ago because he was like some kind of drug addict, and it was just a way for him to make money. And they totally forgot about him. And he's got insane, superhuman strength, and he becomes the Sentry. And he just basically like turns on Julie Louis Dreyfus after he beats the shit out of the Thunderbolts and says, why do I got to listen to you? It's like, I'm all powerful. Like, why am I going to listen to somebody like you? It's like, I'm stronger than you. But of course, they set up this like device that shuts him off. He dies, but then like comes back as this like black shadow, turning other people into shadows. And it was, it was kind of wild. It was very, to me, it just reminded me a lot of Thanos from Infinity War, just snapping, and half the population everywhere is gone. But it was just like this black shadow that would go over the city, and every time it touched somebody, they would disappear. Now, granted, this is just an abridged version of the movie. I'm skipping out a lot of like the in-between stuff that was just basically irrelevant to the movie. It wasn't really anything that like captured me throughout this movie. Seeing Bucky on screen again was cool, but like there really wasn't much to what he was doing there either. And I'm still sitting here watching this, and I'm not moved in any way. I'm not moved like thinking, oh my God, I love this movie. But I wasn't moved into the direction of like, oh my God, I hate this movie. So, of course, the Thunderbolts figure out a way to find Bob, the Sentry. They jump into this black shadow that he's casting over New York, and they find him in a room. Now, when you walk into this shadow, or this shadow catches you, it takes you to like your darkest and like some of your worst memories. So, or like even when he would touch you, you would see like something in your memory that was horrible. And most of the memories, like somebody dies in their memory, and it's just wild, but it's very depressing. It's very sad. And so they find Sentry, Black Widow, Yelena. She finds Bob in this dark place in the void, I believe they called it, and she's talking to him, like trying to get him out of it, like saying, "Hey, what's going on? Like, I'm here to help you, whatever." And then all of a sudden, like the rest of them join in, and basically just hug it out until he's cured. See, like I never really liked endings like that. Like It Chapter 2. I thought the movie was really good, I mean, of course, I love the original way better. Tim Curry as Pennywise, obviously classic. Now, but like in It Chapter 2, it's like all they did was basically insult him away, insult him until he disappeared and was gone. It was kind of a cheesy ending. It also it reminded me a lot of, if you've ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when Willow becomes like this all powerful witch after the three killed her girlfriend. She just loses it and becomes like just this dark witch and just wreaks havoc all over Sunnydale. And she was like the big bad at the end of the season, and the way she was defeated was by Xander telling her how much she loved him. He loved her. No matter what she threw at him, I love you, Willow. I love you. And then like finally she was brought back to being Willow, and it defeated whatever evil was inside of her, and all was good. She got sent away because, she used powers she wasn't supposed to tap into, but that's besides the point. I'm going too much into the Buffy story of Willow being a dark witch, but that's what it reminded me of. I didn't like that ending then. I didn't like the ending now. It was just corny to me. It's like, oh, we can all be friends. Like, hey, let's hug it out, whatever. And then, at the end, they get him out. All is good. He's powerful, and they're all friends. And, next thing they know, they're going after Elaine from Seinfeld, and they go through this curtain, and she's there on the other side, like it's like this whole outdoor press conference, and she says, "I would like to introduce you to the new Avengers." So this is the way the marketing for this movie had been since after the first week. Now, people are saying that it's because sales weren't going as good as they thought it was. Not enough people were going into the theater to watch it. So, hey, let's market this as the new Avengers, and maybe more people will go. That's really not what got me into the theater. I was planning on seeing it anyway. It was just a matter of when. But part of me thinks that was their plan from the beginning, because they figure whoever really wanted to see the movie would have at that point, and anybody who didn't really care enough about spoilers, because I feel like there's no such thing as spoilers anymore. Because like some of the quality in like some of these movies have gone down so much that it's like, it doesn't bother me when somebody tells me what happens in a movie anymore. I think the last thing that really ticked me off was when somebody told me that Han Solo dies in The Force Awakens. I think that's the last time I was ever genuinely pissed off that someone spoiled a part in a movie for me. So now, here they are, the new Avengers, credits roll, what have you, and, of course, there's a mid-credit scene where the Red Guardian's in a supermarket, and, he mentions in the movie that they should be on the Wheaties box, so here it is. The new Avengers are on the Wheaties box now. And he's like pointing it out to this woman. He's like, hey, why don't you get the Wheaties box? Like, look, that's me. And, she walks away. She just puts it on there. She's like, oh, okay, thank you. Walks away, puts it on, puts it wherever, and just keeps going. Credits roll more. And then you find out that, what's his name? Sam Wilson, Captain America, the Falcon, is going to sue them for using the name Avengers. It's like, dude, you just became Captain America. Like, what are you doing? So like the whole joke was, hey, let's call it Avengers with a Z. You can't sue us for that, whatever. And it's like, another corny joke that wasn't needed in the movie. And, so when the movie, but, before the mid-credit scene, the movie ended and you see Thunderbolts, with a little asterisk. And then it like tears away. It says the new Avengers. And I asked one of my buddies after I saw it, because he had seen it. He didn't really like it much. I was like, dude, so at the end it said Thunderbolts, and then it kind of tore away and it said New Avengers. And I was like, do you remember that happening in the theater when you saw it? He's like, I don't think that happened. So I don't know if like when I saw it, that was something different. If anybody watches this, if you saw it like during opening week, if like during the credits, right before the credits, if it said Thunderbolts and that was it, or if it tore away and said New Avengers, I don't know. He seems to remember it not doing that. So I'm just trying to find out, because I don't think he liked it enough to really have paid attention. But on my end, like I said, I'm very indifferent about this movie. I'm not going to say I liked it. I can't say I liked it. Can't say I loved it. But I can't say I hated it either, because it was just a movie. Like, I didn't walk out of there feeling fulfilled. But I didn't walk out of there thinking like, God, that movie was horrible, like I have in the past with other Marvel movies. But I didn't get that same reaction that I felt with other Marvel movies, basically, like, I would say probably before, 2020. And some people might feel that this is the movie that's going to bring Marvel back. I thought that Deadpool was supposed to do that, Deadpool and Wolverine. And to be honest, I didn't feel that way. I mean, it's like it was one movie. One movie's not going to save a whole, movie company. It's not going to save all of Marvel cinematic universe. I didn't feel that way. I mean, I saw the movie. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it was funny. It was hilarious, but it just didn't have the same impact for me as the ones before it. Yeah, you had all those cool cameos and stuff, but like I feel like that's what it relied on too much. But again, I'm getting into another movie completely. Even though I like Deadpool, Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't bad. I just didn't think it was as great as I was hoping it to be. That's a story for a different time. But as far as the new Avengers go, as far as Thunderbolts go, I'm so indifferent on this. I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. It's just weird because I didn't walk out of there thinking like, oh my god, what a pile of shit. But I didn't walk out of there thinking, oh my god, what a fantastic movie. It was just like it was hardly even 50-50. Like I wouldn't even like I don't even know how to explain it other than like it was just blah. It was just whatever. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, just whatever. Thank you for watching, if you did. And if you decide to go see the new Avengers, let me know what you think. Or if you've seen it already, let me know what you think. But again, to me, it was just whatever.
Like, share, subscribe.